The Duffer Brothers have been lying and gaslighting their entire audience for years now, stretching out a story that was meant to be 1 to 2 seasons to an entire 5-season event, Infinity War level event, and pretending like that was always what it was supposed to be, culminating in an ending so bad that it left half its audience mentally ill, thinking there was another final episode, a real finale coming. And some of these people still exist. They are still coping and holding on to the hope that conformity gate is real and there is a finale on the way. I have a message for the Duffer Brothers. I don't want you to see me like this, but so I can't help myself anymore. I don't mean to crash out, and I know my audience is probably sick and tired of me talking about this shit. There's something I want to say to the Duffer Brothers here. I've had a lot of time to think about this. I want to extend an olive branch to the fans that liked the ending of the show, and to the Duffer Brothers that defend the endless plot holes of the show. I want to extend an olive branch to you before I burn it down with my own piss. For those telling me to stop worrying about this shit and stop talking about it, it's not a big deal, go touch grass, go fuck yourself. Before I eviscerate you, because the Duffer Brothers, if you were in the same room as me, I'd strangle you. I'd strangle you to death. I want to give you some credit because I'm a fair man who does cocaine. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna give you some credit, alright? You were nobodies. You were nobodies in the sphere of cinema. And then you wrote and directed one of the most iconic pieces of fiction in pop culture. Some of the most popular characters ever. You made it happen. You contributed to billions of views on Netflix. Season 1 was beautiful. Structurally, it was perfect, if I dare say so myself. Great characters, great nostalgia. It had everything going for it. A great premise as well with the Upside Down. I've had a crush on Nancy Wheeler like every single year that this show's come out, but that's besides the point. You gave me that, at least. Some cool monsters. You had it all! You had it all in 2016. Season 2. You tried. They always say the sequels tend to suck balls. You guys tried. And while I still think Season 2 is enjoyable and good on its own merit, it has some issues. It has one of the worst episodes I think I've ever seen. Many of the fans hated this episode. Alright? 11 doesn't really have much to do with this season. If you go back and watch it, she doesn't do much. She's in Hopper's house for most of it and then going off doing her own thing before she comes back at the end. And the final 2 episodes are really good. And it introduces the Mind Flayer, one of the greatest cosmic entities ever. So much aura. Look how that fucking turned out. Season 3. Something happened. Cause this ain't the same show. This is not the same show at all. I've been rewatching the season just to see if I'm just or something. Was this show always dog shit? Because a lot of people are saying this was never that good. And you know what? Maybe they're right. But I do think season 1 was definitely that good. Season 3, it's like a different show. Now everything's colorful, cartoony, stylized, overly stylized the way it's directed too. Every character is like a caricature of what they were. You had some cool stuff with the Mind Flayer again, with the flayed, him possessing people and turning them into husks of flesh, and then creating this kaiju form, which is very gross and dark as a story on its own. But then you have all this other shit with Russia. Oh, the Russians are doing something inside of a mall. This dude and Hopper and Joyce are out somewhere outside of Hawkins doing shit. You have multiple characters in different realms doing different things, all culminating together. It's literally Infinity War now. Now we've gone ultra stylized, too many characters, a lot more money and production value has been dumped on these episodes. And you're kind of facing the same threat over and over. So usually this is the time for a curtain call. It's time to end this shite. But no, we get season 4. And to be fair, season 4 is my second favorite season of the show. I know a lot of people disagree about that, but it is. Why? Here's the issue. It has the best and the worst of the previous seasons. It has a return to form with some of the stuff we loved in season 1. The dark tone, the dark look and aesthetic is back. The Hawkins small town mystery is back. It's the first episode. Vecna brutally murders Chrissy. That's how the first episode ends, establishing him as a great threat, a new villain, the new dog in the yard. That was a great scene. That was a great way to open this. It was really dark, bro. We're getting into some Freddy Krueger shit here now with Vecna. Cool villain, as long as he works for the Mind Flayer. Right? Because that's what it should be. Fucking morons. Every single scene with them, though, needs to go. They are the most boring storyline of the season. I don't give a shit about anything happening with 11 in the show. I skip her scenes. Will and Mike, I could give a fuck less about Will's crush on Mike, and Mike is a douchebag this entire season. The military subplot, every time a military subplot's added in these shows, it's terrible. Terrible, makes no fucking sense, it's illogical and stupid. Like the same thing with It Welcome to Derry. Stop adding military subplots that take up screen time, they're useless. But it gave us some iconic sequences. The Max running up that hill sequence in the episode Dear Billy. Great! Every single thing with this crew, with these characters, is great. That's where the Hawk and Small Town Mystery is happening. It's all well directed too. Well shot. Eddie's an amazing supporting character. Unfortunately, they do something called the expendable formula, where when we don't want to kill off any of our beloved main characters, we're going to add a new character, a supporting character that's actually likable and better than some of the main characters, and we're just going to kill them off because we don't care about consequences. Oh, and also the Mind Flayer is only the way he is because Vecna made him so. Vecna basically found this cloud of dust, this particles, and said, fuck it, I'm going to make you into a spider, and then I'm going to make you do my will. And they established Vecna as the main villain of all time now. And they tried to change it in Season 5 because they tried to save face, but they failed miserably. Fuck all of you. And then we get Stranger Things Season 5, our beloved Stranger Things Season 5. You know what, I'll say? I liked Volume 1 a little bit. I thought it was decent. Still repetitive and still has some of the same issues, but you know what? Every character's together now. It's all taking place in Hawkins. I can appreciate that. There's some cool stuff with the Demigorgons. The fourth episode was pretty good. Cool. Got no problem with it. Volume 2 is a fucking disaster of the highest proportions. 3 episodes that are absolutely worthless. I don't know why this woman exists. Kill her! Stop bringing military subplots into this. She doesn't deserve to exist. I don't care if the actress is iconic. I don't give a shite. Stop this. Hollywood needs to stop this. The Mind Flayer. Oh, what happens to him in the season finale? He goes from the most aura-filled entity in this entire show to a big giant kaiju that's dumb as fuck and gets hurt by fire and bullets. Vecna will be stronger and scarier than ever in the Stranger Things finale. Was he? He is nowhere near as scary as he is in Season 4, in Season 5 finale. He gets his ass whooped by 11, and so does the Mind Flayer in the course of 6 minutes. 6 minutes! Actually, their fight was like 3 minutes. The issue is... Duffer Brothers. You forgot what got you to the dance. You forgot what made you so great. With all that money and all that time and success and fame, you forgot it all. It happens to the best of us, I know. I can't flame you too much for it. But I can still spit on your face through the camera as a keyboard warrior sitting behind the internet. But if I ever caught you on the street, trust me, I would do terrible things. I still respect you. I'm just unhinged like that. What brought you to the dance was not a huge budget, Infinity War level cast of characters that you can play with. All these special effects. It wasn't Vecna. Vecna's such a great villain. It wasn't Will's sexual orientation and how much we need to harp on that in one of the most cringe coming out scenes ever with characters that shouldn't even be in the scene that are randomly there. In the worst timing in the entire story where you're about to face off against the end of the world. The misplaced sense of humor. Robin's pullout joke actually fucking made no sense, to be honest, because people found it funny, but I was like, this is kind of weird and stupid and coming out of nowhere. There's a lot of jokes that don't land in this. We're getting MCU with some of this shit. What brought you to the dance, which is admittedly a formula you can only do once or twice, is a dark, isolated, small-town mystery with a missing kid or a murder or something like that happening. A group of likable characters that are suffering and going through shit. They are. And an interesting entity in the Mind Flayer as a villain. You have interesting entities in general and an interesting concept in the Upside Down. But when you try to overly explain all that, it all goes to shite. Stranger Things was always meant, in my opinion, to be either a 1 or 2 season arc. But the Duffer Brothers lie. The Duffer Brothers will say, it was always a plan. Vecna was there from the beginning. He was always the one pulling the strings. He was the one opening Will's door. Alright, he was the one using the Mind Flayer, and that Mind Flayer was using him, blah blah blah, and the weird hive mind mix. He was the one sending Demigorgons, all that shit. Even though we've never heard or seen of Vecna until Season 4, he never made an appearance, and oh, well, he was just waiting for his moment. He was just waiting for the Mind Flayer to get defeated like 3 times in a row. That was the plan, huh, Duffer Brothers? That's the lie you want to tell your audience, that you had a plan all along. Honestly, if you had a plan all along, I think the conformity gate things would have helped you. I think if you had a secret episode, that could have solved everything, but no, you fucking didn't. You don't have a plan. You have nothing. You have nothing! If you had a plan, Duffer Brothers, if you really had a plan, you 2 absolute dipshits, the amount of plot holes that were so easy to solve too, by the way. It would have been so easy to acknowledge them. These plot holes wouldn't exist in the quantity they do. Will being alive and not hurt by the hive mind. Fans have good explanations for that. The Duffer Brothers have said, oh, we wanted to focus on the final fight and not so much that. The Duffer Brothers themselves don't even have an answer for this. Why was there no Demogorgons or army? Oh, we Demogorgon fatigue. Fucking morons. No army in the final fight. That vector, it's all on the line, huh? The U.S. military, what happens to them? Why aren't they apparent in the end, in the last 30 minutes of the finale? Did they just leave? They didn't arrest any of the kids? That would never fucking happen. The Mind Flayer wasn't in his smoke form. He just took a dumb kaiju form that could be easily hurt. The smoke form would have wiped the floor with everybody. Vecna didn't come in any of the earlier seasons. He's only there in season 4 despite having such a massive role. We don't 11 just doesn't remember what she did to Vecna, Henry Krill, all those years back. How did the fucking stone get on Earth if 11 was the one who created the first wormhole by interacting with the Demogorgon through her mind? And if there was another wormhole, where'd it come from? Where's the stone from? Blah, blah, blah. How do the particles really work if the particles are in everybody? Because remember, the stone puts the Mind Flayer's particles in you and then gives you powers. All these people that have been possessed or have had some interaction with particles, do they not have powers of their own as a result? Or a sinking into the hive mind? What happened to all the pregnant women that were in that military laboratory? They just died and shit, I guess? Joyce and Hopper found out about Henry Cavill off-screen. Dustin broke up with his girlfriend off-screen. The Russians opened a rift in Russia and found Demogorgons there. Where did that come from? Is that where the stone came from? What happened to the whole Russia plotline in season 4? What happened to their upside down that they opened a rift to, apparently? Why didn't Vecna use that? What's up with the character continuity issues? There's stuff with Max that makes no sense in the finale. The upside down does not operate or function like it used to. People can do whatever they want in the upside down now. Build factories and warehouses and all this technology there and shit. It makes no fucking sense. You know why? Because you didn't actually establish a lore for 5 seasons. You had a semblance of an idea that could be used for 2 seasons. And then because you needed the money and you were like, oh, Netflix is ordering more seasons, we'll just bullshit our way through this. And then we won't know what to do with our ending because we have crapped ourselves and written ourselves into a corner. And now, we have what do we have? We have the Stranger Things cinematic universe, multiple spin-offs. We have one between season 2 and 3. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have another one after. We're gonna have a sequel to Stranger Things or a spin-off that has nothing to do with any of the Upside Down lore, but still has Henry Krill Stone randomly in it. Every single fucking thing that goes to shit does this. Oh, we have one successful thing. We're gonna pump it and dump it full of sequels, and then we're gonna create an endless cinematic universe with it for money. That's the death of everything. Oversaturating the fucking product. Watering it down to the point of absurdity and despair. To the point where your audience is mentally ill and thinks there's another finale coming. CM Punk had a quote about this. And a lot of people, like the Duffer Brothers, are saying the same thing. They expressed that many fans are just freaking out for no reason because fans have this tendency to build up a fantasy finale in their head that's so high with expectations that it can never be fulfilled by the writers and directors who actually create it. So if the fans do it to themselves, the fans hurt themselves, and it just ruins the discourse. Now, he is right in some ways. Some fandoms do this. And you could say that some fans that, for example, wanted Mike and Will to be together randomly, even though there's no indication that would have ever fucking happen. Yeah, there are some fans that go a bit too far with it and have fantasies about what should happen. Here's the thing with guys like me, who are not fucking idiots and want that other dumb shit. There's a difference between expecting something and saying, I wasn't expecting Endgame Infinity War times 15 for the Stranger Things finale, mind you. I know the kind of show I'm dealing with here. But there's a difference between that and getting something that's genuinely haphazardly done, as you can tell with the Duffer Brothers not even being able to answer the most genuine and general of plot holes that they created, and poor writing decisions. You genuinely just have cases where that's just the truth. And I don't care how many shills there are for this finale that say, oh, but what were you expecting from a cheesy, dumb show that wasn't meant to be taken seriously? Have you seen season 1 or season 2? The tone, the writing, back when it was smart at least, is indicative of a show that does take itself fucking seriously. Even though it's meant to go off the ramp of the nostalgia of the 80s and 70s, that doesn't mean it doesn't take itself seriously. It does take itself seriously. That's a cop-out bullshit answer. Some people were saying, oh, but remember season 4 and season 2? Now people look fondly on them. People are going to look fondly on season 5. No, people actually like season 4. Nobody hated any of the prior seasons as much as they've hated this. Where there's smoke, there's fire. If enough people find something cringe, it's probably just fucking cringe. Alright? That's my final rant on this. I know I've been making a ton of Stranger Things videos, you know, hopping on the trend of Stranger Things as it's a trending topic, but I do have emotional attachments to the show. I just do. And when dumb fucking writers, who apparently are doing more drugs than I am, are destroying it from the inside out, I have to talk about it. And I have respect for the Duffer Brothers, man. They gave me this show. They gave us this show as fans, and we should appreciate that. But you know what? I don't like the idea of someone giving me a gift and then burning it in front of me. And then to put out the flames, they piss on it and then dump feces on it. That's what happened. That's what happened. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.